Good evening, one and all. It's Wednesday night, Wednesday the 17th of March 2021. Very good evening to you and welcome to tonight's little chat show coming to you from Bracknell in Berkshire. We've got the Union Jack jacket out today. I like this one. Do you like this? That works well with grey, doesn't it? I feel guilty today because I haven't been out. I had to stay in for a delivery. A delivery arrived today. My new oven arrived. Did I tell you I was going to order a new oven? Maybe I didn't actually. Yeah, come ever so quickly. Bought from AO.com. I think I ordered it Tuesday afternoon. It came this morning. Well, this afternoon, early afternoon. Amazing service. Literally 24, was it 24 hours? Something like that. 24 hours? It was about 24 hours. I ordered it. It came the next day. How fantastic is that? Anyway, so the new oven's arrived because the old one, I think I told you on Monday. Oh, was it yesterday or today? No, it was yesterday. Yes, so you won't know about this. Yesterday I tried to do some chips in the oven. And when my mate came over the other day, he already noticed that it was taking long to cook stuff. For example, chips. Right, usually he comes over and I cut up some potatoes and we do Slimming World chips, which is chopped up potatoes and a bit of that spray stuff. I'm just going to push myself up a little bit. I just noticed we're a little bit low on the volume levels, aren't we? Let's just push that up a little bit. Is that better? There we go. All right. Hope I didn't make you jump tall there, because it's different settings for the radio, you see. That's better. Yes, and it took so long to do the chips. And he said, I don't think that oven's eating up all right. And I was like, oh, it'll be all right. Anyway, that was a few days ago. And since then, I thought, it's taking a little bit long to heat up. And then yesterday, I put some chips in the oven just for me. Top shelf, the hottest part of it. Although it's a fan oven, so that shouldn't really make any difference. And I put these chips on at about 11:45, thinking, I'll have an early lunch. About 12:15, 25 past 1. And there were still white bits on them. I thought, nah, that's had it, mate. That's had it. Anyway, I looked on my receipts, and this oven's 15 years old. So, time to get a new one. And I ordered one off AO.com. Total cost was about £254. It was it's a Wi-Fi oven. Oh, yes. Fantastic. I can be out somewhere, right? Put my stuff in the oven. I mean, you can do it with a timer if you know exactly what time you're going to be back. And this was brought up to me, actually, by my mate and my sister, actually. They both brought it up. Why don't you use the timer? Because when I'm out doing my litter collecting, I don't know what time I'm going to be back. I always say, I'll just be out an hour and a half. I've been out for 3 hours. And if you've got that on timer, that's going to be dead by the time burnt to cinder. So it's got Wi-Fi on. Great, isn't it? Anyway, so I was making a unboxing video of this today. And it was all going really well, actually. Took it out of the box, put it in place, put the plug on. All going so well. Until it came to setting up the Wi-Fi. I was almost ready to say, okay, forget the Wi-Fi, just use it as a normal oven, okay? And I'm just going to leave that conversation there because I've got a video. It's not completed yet because I couldn't complete it. Couldn't complete the video. And I'm like, oh, do I even want to carry on doing this video now? Because I'd got so far, and then it was the setting up of the Wi-Fi that proved an absolute pain in the bum. Now, I've had this before with Wi-Fi stuff. I've got a timer switch, and there's all lights around the house, and this comes on. It's a mechanical timer switch, which I've replaced once when the old one failed. I found a Wi-Fi one. So it's not like a plug socket. Okay, it's just this piece of plastic with kind of it's just a piece of plastic, really. And you wire it in and replace your time clock with that. I couldn't get that to work off the Wi-Fi either. I sent that back to the Amazon. The setting up of Wi-Fi stuff is so difficult. And even in the instructions, it says if it doesn't work at first, try again. Well, you shouldn't have to blooming well try again, should you? When you used to buy stuff in the past, you plugged it in and it either worked or it didn't work. You didn't have to keep plugging it in and unplugging it all the time, did you? But this blooming Wi-Fi stuff, oh, it's beyond me. It really is. Do you know, I've got really hot in here. I had the heating on. Of course, I've come in here now, so I've got the cold air on now. How mad is that? Anyway, so hopefully I'll have an oven video. I haven't done the Wi-Fi part of it yet. And I may finish that tomorrow or the day after, or I might just abandon it. I don't know yet. I mean, it's much longer than I thought it would be due to the Wi-Fi problem. And that's why I haven't been out today. I had to wait in for the oven. It came round about 1 o'clock, which was fine. Gorgeous bloke delivered it. Oh, he had the dreadlock beaded hairs down here. He wasn't old. He was about 25. Bit young for me, isn't it? Bit young, is that? You know, a little bit young for me. But he was gorgeous. Not an ounce of fat on him. He had his little black mask on as well. Bless his heart, darling. Very nice. And he rang me half an hour. He said, I'll be with you in about half an hour. Fantastic. You get a text in the morning. Tells you the 4 hours it's going to be. And then later on you check and wonder where it is now. And then it says, it's an hour away. And then at about 12:30, the phone rang. Oh, hello, it's AO.com. I've got a delivery for you. I'll be with you in half an hour. I mean, how good is that? Fantastic service. AO.com. Hey, you want to have a look at them? Wi-Fi oven. It's a Hoover one I've got. Hoover. I didn't even know they do ovens. Hoover. Innit? Hoover. Okay. So that's that. Let's say hello to some of you tonight on the text messaging. If you're new to the show, a warm welcome along to you. There is a chat box. You may well be in the chat box, but I don't go into the chat box at all, as in ever. Okay, that's for you to talk to each other. If you want to send me a message throughout the show, please use the text in number in the top left-hand corner there, 07451 287 337, 07451 287 337, or you can send an email if you want to, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or indeed you can call in when we open the phone line a little bit later on in the show. Okay, my loves? Hello to Gary and Leslie. Good evening, Gary and Leslie. Hello to you two. Hello to Diane Jebb. Good evening, Diane Jebb. Mike in Brighton. Oh, of course, yes, St. Patrick's Day today is Mike in Brighton. I should have had a paddy jacket. I don't have a paddy jacket, I'm afraid. I don't have that. Hail, glorious St. Patrick, dear saint of our all. I remember there was one St. Patrick's Day I rung up non-Irish Mary from Ireland, sadly no longer with us. May she rest in peace. Wonderful lady. And literally she answered the phone and I just started playing that down the phone. I think she started crying. Happy St. Patrick's Day to each and every one of you. All right, thank you, Mike. Good evening to Rachel Wheatland, who's texting in her weigh-in. It's weigh-in day, boys and girls, and I have my weigh-in list standing by on green paper. Green paper. Which, for those of you with colour, it will look green. For those of you with black and white, it will look slightly grey. Okay, so let's see what Rachel says. Evening, Chris. She's weighing in tonight at... What's that kg? What is that kg? What's that, Rachel? kg. Is that like a foreign thing, darling? kg. Oh, there we are. 11 stone, 4 pounds. So let me just check last week's weight for Rachel. This week, 11 stone, 4. So she is down 3 pounds. Round of applause for Rachel. Is anyone else on the weigh-in? Anyone else on the... Not on the weigh-in. Weighing in on a set of scales? Anyone? If so, send your weight in now and you will be added to the list. Rachel started at 11 stone 10 and she's now 11 stone 4. That's in about, what's that, about 8 weeks, Rach? Something like that. Is it 8 weeks? About 8 weeks, isn't it? So that's very, very good. Well done, Rachel, 11 stone 4 there. Hello to the gorgeous, delectable, stunningly good-looking Mark Bowles is with us tonight, probably sprawled out on the settee in his little grey tracksuit bottoms. Hello to you. Good evening to Mark Bowl, who says hello, sugar tits. Not quite sure what that means, sugar tits, but I'm sure it's a very nice thing. Thank you, Mark. Good evening to Ollie K. Hello, Ollie, who says hopefully your oven gets fixed and works okay. Well, I hope so. It's a new oven. It's a new oven. I won't tell you any more than that part of the story. unless I don't continue with the video. I haven't decided whether I want to carry on doing that video yet. Now, it went on and on simply because of the Wi-Fi thing, about passwords and, oh, Jesus Christ. It just goes on and on with Wi-Fi stuff. It may well be a generational thing. I don't know if younger people, perhaps like yourself, Ollie, when you get a new gadget and you have to enter passwords and things like that. Do you find it works first time, or do you have to sort of try it several times? I'm just not good with that stuff at all. Good evening to Jason Hughes. Hello to Jason. Evening to Fran Green. Good evening to the lovely Pete Rimington. Good evening, Pete. George Bond is there. Good evening, George. I can see new stickers on your shelf. Yes, indeed you can. New stickers. Look at these. Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, they're for the bingo. They're for the bingo. Bingo stickers. Does anyone want to buy? I don't know what price those. See, the trouble is, the thing is with selling the stuff, it's always you send a super chat, YouTube immediately take 30%. You see, that's the problem. I would say £1.50 and £1 each, so £2.50. Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? £2.50. Does that sound... No, hang on. What's the first class? Is the first class stamp £1? I think a first class stamp's £1. So £2 minus 30% would be... See, that's £2.50. It's too dear. Who's going to pay £2.50 for one of those? It's just not worth it. Not worth it. Wait till you win one on the bingo. Unless you want 5, then it becomes worth it, I suppose. I don't know. No, we can't really sell them. It just doesn't work. The whole selling thing doesn't work. It really doesn't. You can't even make the money back you spend on stuff. It's ridiculous, So thanks for that, George. But they will be available to win on the bingo. Any game that you win, you can choose that. Okay, because that's like the first game prize. Do you see what I mean? So any game, and you'll win that. Okay, on Sunday night, unless of course you choose something else, which is all right. Good evening to Matt Joplin. Happy St. Patrick's Day to Matt Joplin. Good evening, Matt, in sunny Croydon. Hope you're well there, sir. Nice to see you there, Matt. Maureen's there. Good evening, Maureen. Steve Allen's 67 tomorrow on LBC. Yes, he's back on LBC, I'm pleased to say. Yep, he's sounding bright and chirpy. I did listen to his Sunday show. Didn't really refer to his illness, but that's a private thing, probably down to him, so that's fair enough. He's 67 tomorrow. He told us this morning on his 4 o'clock radio show. I often listen to him if I'm awake at that time. I didn't know he was 67. I really didn't know Steve Allen was 67 years old. That's quite old, isn't it? I didn't think he was that old, to be honest. Mike in Brighton, check if there's a WPS button on the new oven. No, I'm not going to go talk any more about that new oven there, Mike. You'll see there. Ollie K hasn't had a new gadget for a while, so I haven't set one up in a while, but there are times that they have been pretty easy, you see. I'm sure it's probably a generational thing, that is, when it comes to putting these passwords in, and then you have to put it in several times, and then when you do the second time the password, please retype your password there, and it doesn't match the first time. You think, well, what have I done wrong here? Oh, it's just a blooming nightmare, isn't it? Anyway, let's go on to one of our little stories today, gang. First of all, where are we going to get our blooming chocolates from? I mean, Hotel Chocolat. Oh, I love it in there. What's your favourite bar of chocolate in Hotel Chocolat? Or your favourite thing in there? Mine is the caramel bars. Oh, they are so... Ollie, get my dad to get you some. Caramel chocolate bars from Hotel Chocolat. They're quite thin, but I think you get 4 in a packet. It's either 2 in a packet or 4 in a packet. That is even better than Galaxy. Maureen, have you had that? Oh, caramel chocolate bars. Oh, they're so nice. But no news on Hotel Chocolat. We hope they carry on being open. Of course, you can order everything online now, can't you? And that's the thing, this has been happening over years. The pandemic has just sped all this up. Shops closing left, right and centre. John Lewis, £500 million loss. How do you... I don't run a large company, How do you lose and carry on £500 million? How do they deal with something like that? Gone into the red like that? That being said, I've had no DJ money this year, of course. None at all. And that's running into the red by thousands. My DJ, it's kind of... I am only a DJ. I don't hire out stuff or anything like that. I just do karaoke nights, as you well know. Just a little bit of DJing I was doing, which made a small profit. It's thousands in the red. Thousands. But I can't use my landlord business to prop that up. It doesn't work like that. And the only way you can claw that back is to get another job, DJing or karaoke, whatever, something, an entertainment job, as quickly as possible when you can. And then you can start clawing that loss back by not paying so much tax. Don't ask me how that works. The accountant does all that. That's what he was telling me. I said, well, how do we deal with that £15,000 loss or whatever it was? It's something like that over the year. Because everything's still going out, nothing coming in. Car for the business and music and all this. You can't just stop buying it. Because when you come back, you've got to be up to date. You've got to still have the car. You could, just take the car back for a few months until I need it again. Doesn't work like that. You've got to keep paying out for the damn thing. Thousands. But if you've got more than one business, you can't use one to subsidise the other. So I would go back to work, right? Earn X amount of money. Okay, hopefully. And we won't be on the same money that we were on before. There'd be too many people after those jobs. I'm anticipating, if I'm lucky enough to get a job back or being on half them. In fact, I offered to do it for half. I've offered to do it for half, really. Just to try and... Well, they've been very good to me, and I'm not like... It's not like I'm struggling here to eat or anything like that. But that's how you do it. You would have to go back to work. And then, of course, you've got kind of £15,000. Well, it's not £15,000. It's around that figure. You've got £15,000 kind of there, which you can then earn before you start paying tax, as well as your normal amount of money that you're allowed to earn before you start paying tax anyway. Do you see what I mean? And that can run over X number of years. Don't ask me exactly how. That's what the accountant's paid to do. So, how John Lewis carries on after losing £500 million, we already know some of their stores are not going to open, and that's a great shame. Great shame. But they're doing really well on the online thing, aren't they? And this was going to happen anyway in years to come. Less shops, more online. And be honest, we love it. We love it. Look at me oven. Me oven. I haven't had to go into that bleeding curry. Oh, I hate it in there, curries. Push, push, push. Would you like the extended warrant? No, go away. Oh, I've just spoken to the manager. He can do it half. No, go away. Didn't have to do any of that. I went on the internet, clicked a button, and then 24 hours later, a very nice man come and bought me a big box. Fantastic. And part of the reason we're losing these shops is because of us. Even if there was no pandemic and I was able to go out and have a look round shops, would I have gone to Curry's or John Lewis or anywhere to look at an oven? Probably not. Only cloves. I would go to look at cloves. Don't buy cloves online. Unless it's something, sort of not particularly expensive. Then you can buy them online. As long as you can send them back. Well, Amazon are doing that now, aren't they? I think it's called Amazon Wardrobe or something like that, where you go on Amazon, they've got a list of all these things. You can order X number of items. I think it's 7 or 9, something like that. They send them to you. You have 1 week to try them out. And then what you don't want, you send back and pay for the rest. Wow. But here it's chocolate. The Mail Online reports chocolate retailer Thornton's. Now, their chocolates are nice. Thornton's. They're not quite Hotel Chocolat, are they? But they're nice. Hot chocolate retailer Thornton's has announced plans to permanently shut all of its 61 shops. 603 jobs at risk in the latest blow to Britain's hard-hitting high streets. The British retailer has been hard hit by the pandemic, which has kept many of its stores shut for key trading periods around Christmas and Easter, you see. Christmas and Easter, chocolates all go together, don't they? And birthdays, of course, perhaps Mother's Day, maybe. Bit like the florist. The florist's biggest day, of course, go and have a guess. Valentine's Day. They make a fortune on Valentine's Day. Not so much the rest of the year. Nowhere near what they make on Valentine's Day. I'm to know that. Saw it in a little thing on the telly some years ago. Thornton's had stuck £45 million into transforming its operations, including new store formats and cafes within the shops. Now, that's quite nice. Now, I do know in Hotel Chocolat, and me and my mate, we've only done it once. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now. It was winter. And we were walking past Hotel Chocolat because we got one in Bracknell. And they were advertising hot chocolate. So we went in, we had one. Oh, it was lovely. And not from powder. It comes from like almost little coffee beans they look like. But they're bits of chocolate. And they put them in this machine and it comes out. Oh, it was, and you can sit in there. Just along the window. They've got a shelf and some stalls. It was lovely. Thornton's were doing that as well. They spent 45 million for nothing. Sad. Plans were thrown into chaos when the pandemic hit, with the retail director also blaming changing dynamics of the high street for its demise. But of course you will be able to buy all this stuff online. Oh, Thornton's chocolates here. Oh, I haven't got my camera here with me today, have I? Oh, what an idiot. They look absolutely delicious. And the shops on the outside, it's quite a nice design, like a chocolatey design along the front there. How sad is that? Won't be able to go into Thornton's chocolates anymore. Terrible. Good evening to Steve Murray. Good evening, Steve. Hope you're well there. Ollie reckons it's older people like me overthinking these gadgets and things like that, quite possibly, isn't it, eh? Maybe so. I think you could be right there. We got another weight coming in. Amelia Phillips. Good evening, Amelia. She is 16 stone 5. So you are 2 pounds down from last week, Amelia Phillips. You were 16.7 last week, so well done. 16.5. Okay, well done. My weigh-in, I did this morning. Last week, I was 13 stone 1.6. This week, I am 13 stone 0.6. Yes, 1 pound lost. Thank you very much, darling. That's new, isn't it, eh? That was my mate's. He gave this to me. He said, "Do you want this?" I said, "Yes, please." So I've got that. And so that if we have a competition, we can have that as the correct thing. And we can have that when you go like that, innit? Is that annoying you now? Good. I'm glad it's annoying you. Text number 07451287337. Very, very strange and mysterious. I got an email here which I completely missed on Monday night. So I reckon she's probably with us at the moment. The delightful Vera, or V. A very good evening to Vera. And she wrote this in about Mother's Day, which we were talking about, of course, on Monday's show. And Vera says, "What can I say? I work in retail, and yesterday was the worst example of Mother's Day." Well, of course, it wasn't. Yes, it was a few days ago now. "Yesterday was the worst example of Mother's Day," says Vera, who works in retail. "The customers act like the event was just added to the calendar. The kids were off for nearly 4 months. They've had enough time to be creative and make cards for their mothers. All mothers love homemade cards. There's nothing better than getting from a child birthdays, whatever, randomly, day of the year, getting something a child has made. Isn't it wonderful? Even from a very early age when they get, I don't know, little things like around the house, like straws and coffee cup covers and cups, and they make something out of it with a little bit of sticky glue which they give to you and it quickly falls apart. Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. The best presents you could ever get are things from children that they've made themselves. It's fantastic. The love that goes into that, I think it's wonderful. And you just know there's people out there who would receive something. What's this? You know there are people like that, don't you? Aren't they awful? Dreadful. Never ever run a child down. I've said this so many times before. Times I've seen fathers standing around a football pitch when their little boys are 6 or 7 years old. They're playing football and they're not particularly good. And they say, "Oh, you're effing useless, you are." They're screaming at their little boys on the football pitch. It's disgusting. And mothers, so-called good mothers, who perhaps are with their daughter at some sort of ballet thing, and then afterwards say, "Well, you should have tried harder." And the kid has clearly tried harder. Never ever run a child down. It's a terrible, terrible, awful thing. One of the worst things you can do is run a child down. Don't you think like that? Awful. Anyway. Vera's email goes on to say, all mothers love homemade cards. Not just mothers, fathers, uncles, aunties, brothers, sisters. We all love it. It just goes to show how much they are loved. God, I need to be loved. I just need some love in my house. I need some love in my house. I really do. It goes on to say, it just shows how much they are loved. Instead, I heard children crying because all the cards were gone and adults panicking to find something to buy. Oh, come on, fellas. What are you like? Waiting until Mother's Day to run down to the bleeding petrol garage to get a few daffodils or a couple of carnations from the petrol garage? Why did you even bother? Why even bother, fellas? It's disgusting. They know that you have just bought them something at the last minute. Why treat them like an afterthought? A mother is for life, not just for Mother's Day. I lost mine nearly 40 years ago, and that's from lovely Vera. So thank you for that, Vera. I'm sorry I missed that on Monday, but she's absolutely right. And let me tell you, if your mum's still alive and you don't do enough for her, it will come back to you when she's gone. Time and time and time again. And it will drive you mad, because it drives me mad. I've never been happy with the amount of non-stuff I've done for my mum and dad. So there we are. Thanks, Fee. Good evening to Danny Woodhouse. Welcome along. Is having mince tonight. Oh, how awful. Well, as in dead animals, chopped up into small pieces. How dreadful. Dreadful. Hi to Richard Morris. Richard is in the house. Good evening, Richard. My very, very good Jewish friend. Richard is in the house. Hello, Richard. And he says, I wanted to join your weigh-in as I need to lose weight, but I got on the scales and it shouted at me, "Oi, one at a time, please." Oh, Richard, you and me alike, love. I started, when did I start? January, wasn't it? I was, I remember being 13 stone 10 at some point, just after Christmas, and now I'm 13 stone 0.6. So not too bad. I continue to make mistakes. For example, today, just before the show, actually, I've started eating earlier on in the evening, and I had a couple of Linda McCartney burgers. Fine. Some mashed potato with just a little bit of soya milk in there. Fine. Tin of baked beans. Fine. But 2 bits of cheese, which were too thick. I mean, even when I was eating them, I thought, oh, you've put too much cheese on there. But you don't chuck them away, do you? Do you know what I mean? You don't chuck it away. I can't chuck food away, no dear. Good evening to Christina. Hello to Christina. She's listening and watching the show as well. Good evening to you, Christina. All right, my love. let's have a look. George, Amelia and George were laughing their heads off. We fell off the bed. Christ, it's the first time you've been off that bed in weeks, isn't it, dear? He said, me and the beer were laughing our heads off. We fell off, me and the beer. Me and Amelia. Thank you. Fran says, just that BHF, right, you're right, Fran. BHF, Debenhams, Boots, Thorntons, all looking for jobs. It's a lot of people. We haven't seen the start of this yet. You wait till the furlough scheme finishes. That's when you're going to see a big increase in people without jobs. Isn't it? What can you do? They have to be trained for something else. No one wants to do another job. If you're doing a job you like, especially in the entertainment industry, there's a very high number of people that in the entertainment industry who have now left the entertainment industry and are doing something else. Driving, perhaps factory work, something like that. Sorry, my slipper's come off. Oh, talking to slippers, I hope Denise Andrews is... I've left it downstairs, which is where it should be. Just wanted to thank Denise Andrews, if she's watching the show today. She very kindly sent me a new notebook. You may remember the other day, she made me a lovely notebook for because she does crafts, makes things, and she made me a notebook for Christmas, which I finished now. I've used all the bits of paper up, and she heard me mention it. She sent me another one, which is downstairs at the moment. I'll try and remember to bring it up on the Friday night show. All right. Steve Murray says, you're right, one should never run a child down, particularly while driving. Oh, you are naughty. Hello to Clarissa. You can have my mother if you want. I don't know about that, Clarissa. Hello to Adam the Plumber. Here we go. We've got some weight coming in from Adam the Plumber. Hope you've had a busy day. Sorry. Hope you're well. Had a busy day at work. He's been busy at work, Adam the Plumber. Just got in, turned on and weighed in tonight. 19 stone 5 is Adam the Plumber. Okay, so you're up 0.2 from last week. You're up £2. Actually, I think it's the week before. I don't think you weighed in last week, so you're up £2 from your last weigh-in, Adam. All right, my darling. And Royston is 15 stone 11. Well, are you sure about that? Because the last weight I've got for Royston is 15 stone 4. So that's gone up quite a lot. You need to get up back on it, boys. Come on, try harder, lads. We can't do it without you. Got to try harder. All right, boys. They do work hard, those two, Adam and Royston there. All right. Good. There we are. That's excellent. Right. I'll show you what I've got to show you today. This beautiful island. How do you fancy living somewhere like this? Eh? Now, I think you might need to do a little bit of work on the castle. That is the only property that I can see there. One or two of you own your own homes, I know that. Lots of people rent, some people own. And depending on where you are in the country, depends on the value of your home, of course. But I bet if you are a home owner, it's probably worth more than £80,000. Why am I saying that? Because that, what you can see now, is on the market for £80,000. The castle and the island. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, it has to be said that was taken on a very good day. The water is so clear around it, isn't it, eh? The sun's out, the sky's blue. But you know as well as I do, it's not always like that. It says in The Sun, a remote Scottish island is on the market for £80,000, the same price as a London garage. A garage in London is going to cost you £80,000, right? This house I'm in here at the moment is worth about 300,000, okay? I paid 61 for this 26 years ago. If you're a homeowner, you'll get that, you know. If you're up north, There are houses in Tattershall, which is quite near to my caravan, for £110,000. Perfectly all right. 2-bedroomed houses, nice. Bit back, some of them backing onto the country. Lovely. Depends where you are in the world, you see. London, Knightsbridge, minimum £600,000. That Scottish island, if you want to buy that, it's on the market for £80,000. It's called Deer Island. Okay? As I say, this is in the sun. It's called Deer Island. Or Eileen a Fade on Loch Moydart. And it's in the West Highlands. Somewhere where I really want to go on holiday. I don't know if I'd like to go camping or not. I used to go camping and I loved it. I don't know if I can sleep on a hard floor again. It's all very well putting down that piece of foam. It's not like your bed from John Lewis, is it? Do you know what I mean? And it'll bring us on to a film in a moment or two. I'll talk to you about a film as well that I recently saw, which I highly recommend if you like anything like living on islands and that sort of thing. It's in the West Highlands. It's up for auction for the same price as a garage on the Shaftesbury Estate, Battersea, South London. A garage in Battersea will cost you £80,000. You couldn't make it up, could you? It's 11 acres, uninhabited. It's got no houses or amenities and is covered in a patch of native woodland. Beautiful. That's my favourite, woods. I like woods. If I had the choice, woods, open countryside or sea, it would be woods. Woods. It is covered in a patch of native woodland and auctioneers say there is a 0 chance of intrusion. Its neighbours, Eileen Shona, it's the name of the island, owned by Vanessa Branson, the sister of billionaire Richard Branson, which is described as car-free wilderness heaven with a number of holiday cottages. Deer Island, that's one for sale, is around 45 miles from Fort William in the Scottish Highlands. It goes on under the hammer on March the 26th. Advertised as a rare opportunity to own your own private Scottish island, nestled in the stunning and tranquil Loch Moydart on the dramatic coast of Scotland. The listing said the uninhabited island is located within an extremely popular sea loch, certain to appeal to investors from all over the world. The island costs less than a 3-bedroomed house in Ardrossan. I have no idea where that is. Don't say anything about being able to or maybe not being able to build on it. It may be one of those places where you just buy that and you can't do anything to it, which is a bit pointless really. You'd want to live on it. The trouble is, living somewhere like that, would you like to live there? Does that sort of appeal to you at all? Would you like to live on sort of an island like that? The trouble is with living on such a place, certainly if you're on your own, and there's plenty of people who become hermits. They go and live in the middle of nowhere and just don't want to be around anyone. There was a point at which I thought I'd be able to do that. I really did. But what happens if something goes wrong? You might be sitting there one day and suddenly have a stroke. No one's going to find you, are they? Especially especially if like me, no one ever rings you really, or you don't get many phone calls from people. Could be days before you've had to be dead by then. Stroke is the sort of thing that you have to notice immediately. Mind you, on the other hand, is that any different to me living here on my own? If I was living on that island, had a stroke, no one would find me in time, even here. It's not like someone ringing up every 5 minutes checking if I'm all right. Might be lucky to get 1 or 2 phone calls a day, but by then it's too late, isn't it? If you have a stroke, You can't even answer the phone anyway, or a heart attack or something like that, or some terrible disease which means that you need to be looked after by someone. And that's the problem. Is it worth... Then again, of course, on the other side of the coin, by not really being in contact with many people, I don't think you'd pick up so many diseases. Certainly, in the last 12 months, and touch wood, I haven't had anything other than this throat thing, which at the moment has gone right down. Apart from that, I've had no colds, no flu, no chests, nothing in 12 months. And guess what's been happening for 12 months? We haven't been close to people. Not really. Maybe one or two here and there, but not the hundreds that I'd pass sort of in a week, whether at work or wandering through London, or perhaps on a train or something like that. Even on the occasions where I've gone to the hospital, which has been a couple of times, you go in there, you do your hands, that's thing, and you got masks on. And when you come out, you do your hands again, you get in your car, you do your hands, your mask's off by now, of course. So maybe by living somewhere like that, you immediately stop getting all these various different respiratory, it's mainly respiratory infections, isn't it? That sort of thing. Would you want to live somewhere like that, I wonder? Stephen's here. Good evening, Stephen. He says, I've been catching up with all the Reach on Air programmes while I'm trucking on the motorways. Regarding car tax prices... Oh, I was talking about car tax the other day, weren't I? I've just renewed my car tax yesterday. £140 for the year. It's a hybrid. It's all right, I suppose. And was that £12 a month? Can't moan about that. One of the is it actually I think it might have been your dad, Ollie. Is it your dad's got a Range Rover? Is it your dad? £51 a month he pays. £600 a year. It serves him right for having a big car. You tell him I said that. I think it was your dad's got a Range Rover. Lovely car, don't get me wrong. Beautiful car. But £51 a month, that's just in tax. Shh. Gosh. Anyway, Stephen Petty, he's got a Mondeo. £30 a year. It must be an older one, is it? Probably an older one there. My Mondeo's £30 a year. My 1991 MX-5 is £160 for the year. It's not bad, is it? Mine's £140. My Toyota RAV4 thing. Clarissa says, you can have my mother if you want to. She is housebroken. Well, kind of. You might need to reinforce the floors on your house. Oh, naughty girl. Mike in Ireland. Mike in Brighton says, I'd love to live on that island, but I think my delivery man from AO.com would get annoyed delivering to me, and not to mention Tesco's. Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? I have no doubt the post office probably deliver there, don't they? They deliver everywhere. But they're not going to come every day, are they? I don't know how that works with the little Scottish islands. Do they come once a week or something like that? Don't suppose the man from Amazon is coming round your place anytime too soon, is he? Won't get an Uber on that island either, would you? I think if you found the right person, it would be all right. And how about this one then? So if you don't fancy that little Scottish island there, what about somewhere a little bit further away? The moon? In the Daily Mail is reporting NASA is gearing up to send the first woman and the next man to the moon, which could pave the way for humans to eventually colonise Earth's natural satellites. But a new study suggests setting up real estate will be a costly thing to do. Why has a woman never gone to the... It don't make sense, that, does it really, when you think about it? Why hasn't a woman gone to the moon yet? Why is that? Did they not have women going to the moon, or did they just not want to? Not quite sure about that. That's silly, really, isn't it? Experts at Money, a credit broker for consumer credit products, released the first ever moon mortgage guide. You can now get a mortgage to buy a place on the moon. Revealing living on the lunar surface would cost £325,067 a month. Yeah. Any of you money bags out there? Let's see. Who have we got on this text message thing? I might have deleted them now. I reckon Adam the plumber's got that sort of money. He could afford to live on the moon, couldn't you, Adam? There might be some people out there who want you to live on the moon, to be honest. The price includes life-saving details to homes such as air seals, industrial-strength air conditioners and heaters, meteor-proof windows, insulation and organic sources of energy, all which total $40 million. Now, NASA's Artemis mission is set to take off in 2024 and send a crew to the moon who will explore the lunar surface with the hopes of constructing a stable habitat. And we've got to do this at some point, haven't we, eh? You know, move to start doing something on another planet. Although, to be honest, I think the moon is too close. It'll be a bit further away than that. What's the point of just going to the moon and setting up houses, except for the fact to see if we can do it or not? And of course, I suppose, you know, if we can do it on the moon, then we can do it anywhere, albeit, you know, being able to do the distance, I suppose. It says, with Earth becoming increasingly populated and space technology advancing, it won't be long before lunar living becomes the new normal. So perhaps you'd like to live there, would you? On the moon. Would you fancy the remote Scottish island or the moon? There's your first question for the night. You can call in now if you want phone lines open. 02081443477 is my phone number, gang. Just a reminder, gang, if you're in the chat box and you're new to the show, welcome along. I'm not in the chat box at all. To send me a message, please use the text number, top left-hand corner there. It's just a normal rate number. It's not premium rate or anything like that. 07451 287 337. Or you can call in on 02081443477. 02081443477. That's the phone number. As you can see, all my operators are standing by at the moment. They're there in the same positions they were Monday. They always sit in the same seats. Have you noticed that, everyone? All my operators standing by to receive your phone calls or not. That's okay if you don't want to call in. I'm quite happy to sit here rabbiting away for a little bit longer. Possibly 5 hours. Whoever knows, dear. Who knows? Read some more of your messages here. Good evening to Mick Davenport. My Peugeot, he's got a Peugeot 308 1.6 diesel, £0 a year tax. Why is that? Why is it £0 a year? On a diesel? It's outrageous. Not fair. Hello to Jeff. Hello, Jeff Burley. Hope you're well. Good news. We had a ground rent in... Oh, yes, I've just said... Did you get my email from earlier, Jeff? I got that this morning. We got the ground rent for the caravan this year, and it's the same as it was last year, which is great news, which is 1,450, 1450, I think it was. That's really good. I mean, it's not even £25 a week, is it, to have a little place in the country? Eh? Come on, that's not bad. That includes all the water, incidentally, for that. You get all the water, bins collected, everything really. Not electric or gas, that's separate. But that's another bill that I don't really want to have to pay at the moment, unfortunately. Never mind. And talking of those two places, both the moon there and that remote Scottish island, £80,000, brings me around to a film that I watched yesterday, which I think you're going to like. It's a lovely film. Little bit on the heartstrings and all that business, but it's beautiful. You can watch it. Can you watch it with children? Yeah, there's a minor bit of rudeness in it. You don't really see it. Oh, you do see ladies' bits. You do see ladies' bits, but it's not. You know, it'd be okay. I think it would be okay. I think for certainly teenagers to watch it with you. And the film is called The Wild. Oh, I can't remember now. Just a minute. Can I just go and get my phone? It's on my phone. Why haven't I written that down? It's here, isn't it here somewhere? Just a minute now. Oh, no, I know. I've got it here. Here we go. Into the Wild. That's it. Into the Wild. There it is. There's the star of the film. young lad who goes through the old American college thing, comes out the other side, but he decides that there's too many restrictions. And he decides to go out and live in the wild. And it's really, really good. The scenery is beautiful. It kind of ties in with this whole island thing that I just showed you there. It's really good. He goes out and he wants to go to Alaska. And various different places he goes through. It shows, and he finds this caravan type thing which looks like it's been abandoned and kind of moves in there. It's on Netflix. It's a long film. It's not a hard film to watch. Do you know what I mean by that? It's a very, very easy film to watch. The ending, I don't want to go there really. I don't want to spoil it for you. You'd like it. It's a feel-good film, I think, throughout, really. The scenery, the trees and the water. And there's one bit where he crosses this, basically a little stream, okay, and goes and lives there. And then he decides he wants to go back to the other side. A number of weeks passed, and when he gets back there, this tiny stream has become a torrent of water, which you just can't cross. It's too fast and too wide. There's another bit where he goes into this place and he just hates the whole idea of money and all this business, and he wants to borrow a boat and canoe down this water raft thing, and he goes into this place and he says, can you tell me where's the best place to go into the water to raft down? This bloke who's in charge, he's like not really paying attention to the boy. And he says, yeah, well, you've got to join the waiting list and you need a permit. And the boy says, what, I need a permit just to go down the river? Yeah, you need a permit. He said, well, what do I do? Do I need to book or something? He said, yeah. He gets his diary out. And the next booking when you can go on your own is like in 13 years' time or something ridiculous like that. And he said, I've got to wait 13 years to go down Lake River. Yeah, unless you want to join one of the groups that go, that's going to cost you $2,000. So it's just all money grabbing people in it. Anyway, so he just goes and gets a canoe and does it on his own back. It's please watch that. It's just over 2 hours long. There's the film. It's called Into the Wild. Maybe one or two of you have already seen that, have you? And if you have, what did you think of it? One of the best films I've watched this year, that. Beautiful film. Very well made. Okay, Netflix, that one. Mick, on the subject of his car, it's very low emissions. Oh, that's probably why. Yeah, because all that tax thing is done on emissions now, isn't it? Yeah. Fran says maybe we should stop ruining our planet instead of looking elsewhere. Just a thought. Oh, I absolutely agree with you, Fran. But people don't care, Fran. The proof is when I go around picking up all this litter, because it's back the next day. There's a lot, as you know, there's a lot of people who joined the litter scheme that the council are running at the moment. They provide the bags. Someone said to me, well, it should be the council doing that. You're doing the council's job. No, not really, because the council basically aren't doing that job and haven't done for some time, as indicated by the age of some of the stuff I'm finding. It's disgusting. It's all very well saying, the council need more cleaners. Okay, so we get more cleaners. What goes up then? Council tax. It's already gone up. What's mine gone up? I think £4. Hang on. Last year it was £96 a month. It's now £100 a month. Right? And it's only £100 a month because I get £400 a year off, 25% off the total charge, because I live on my own. £100 a month council tax I pay. I know some of you are paying more than that, but I live on my own. So in a way, I'm kind of lucky I get a 25% discount. How long that will carry on, I don't know, because they're desperate for money, some of these councils. But when people say to me, the council should be doing that, well, that's going to cost more money then, isn't it? I'll tell you what, because most of these people that moan about the council, they're all on benefits. They're all on. They're the benefit lot, you know. Not the benefit lot who are entitled to benefit, who are actually disabled and deserve to be on benefits, or people who seriously cannot find a job for love of money and damn well do their hardest. Not those people. The people that hang around doing, they don't want to do anything, just want to benefit, sort of benefits all the time. So you want people to pick up that, is that all right to take that away from your benefits? No, it's not coming out of my money. Well, where do you want it to come from then? Stupid people coming out with crap like that. So a load of us has decided we don't want to live like animals anymore among rubbish. And if other people drop it, okay, we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up. You know, I'm afraid I'm not brave enough. If I was walking picking up rubbish and I saw someone throw a can in front of me, I'm afraid I don't think I'm brave enough to go up and say to them and say, oi, pick that up. Because they wouldn't, would they? That's what sort of people we're dealing with, you see. You're absolutely right, Fran. Absolutely right, Fran. Hello to Weird City Citizen. Good evening to you. Can we send Harry and Muckle to the moon? That would be nice, one way. Little Megan, bless her heart, dear. How is she tonight? What programme is she on tonight, love? Tom and Jerry? Mork and Mindy. Perhaps they could do a remake of Mork and Mindy. Do you remember that? Good evening to Adrian Richardson. Good evening to you, Adrian. My poll tax went up by £289 a year. What council is that? Oh, you one of those Labour councils, Adrian? Where are you? What's your council there, as a matter of interest? Do let us know, darling, all right? 02081443477 is my phone number, and you know the text up there, top left-hand corner, 07451 287 337. Gary Ross says, can I buy the black XXL T-shirt? If you still have it. That's a lot of money for a T-shirt, Gary. I wouldn't... I don't know if I've still got it. Hang on. Let me just check on the label. Black T-shirt, Fat Bastard edition. Yes, I've got the XXXL. If you want to, Gary, can you do it on a PayPal? I don't really need as much as that. I won't say what you've offered for it. You know, I'd take... you can take 7 off that if you want to. Entirely up to you, Gary. That's quite a lot to be paying for a T-shirt. But if you want to, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, okay? Do it on the PayPal there. If you want to send a tip, just send it on there. Or use the old, the old super chat if you want to, my darlings. Thank you, Gary. Entirely up to you. Right, it's there if you want it. If you want it. That's quite a lot, though. You know, I'd take 7 off that. I won't say what is offered for that. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you indeed, Gary. All right. I'll tell you what, if you want to do the whole thing, I'll put a sticker on there as well. One of our brand new stickers. Do you fancy one of those? There you go. All right. Put one of those on there as well if you want it. All right. Thank you. Hillingdon, Conservative. Really? Gone up £289 a year? Well, stop emptying your bin so much then. It must be all that rubbish you're chucking away. It's a Conservative council. It's usually the Labour ones that go sky high, isn't it? Dear me, £289. So what's mine gone up? £4 a month. So that's £48 a year. Mine's gone up £48 a year. That's a huge jump, Adrian. Isn't it? Gosh. A lot of money. A lot of money there. All right then now. What else have we got on our little show today? Love Island. Would you like to be on Love Island? Well, you're going to have to be very careful. Now, Mark Bowles, I hope you're still with us, because I got a feeling I'm not sure they'd have you on Love Island. Do you know why that is? I'll read the story. The Daily Mail Online. ITV are blocking people who offer explicit material on subscription sites such as OnlyFans from appearing on their shows. Now, if you've got I reckon Mark's got an OnlyFans account and he won't give it to me. I reckon that's the case. OnlyFans. The network, as well as other channels, are said to be cracking down on hiring reality personalities. Thank God for that. Such as Kerry Katona, Lauren Goodyear and Megan Barton, who post X-rated content online. That's how they're getting the job. How is this an example to children? That's all I think of all the time. You know, if I'm sitting there watching telly with great nieces and great nephews, and some woman or man comes on the telly and there's bits hanging out or whatever, you don't know where to look. And then they start asking questions. We never had this when we were young, did we? That sort of thing on the telly. I think, wasn't it a 10 p.m. watershed at one point? It's 9 now, isn't it? I think it's too much. But these people that they put on the telly, Big Brother and that, screaming and shouting, that's an example to children. And then that's why loads of people are acting like that now. They think that's normal. They think what goes on in the Big Brother household is normal behaviour. No, it's not. What it is attention-seeking people with no talent trying to get attention by doing anything they can. It's awful. And they're not necessarily the ones to blame. It's the blooming producers. Where do they come from? And then I'm afraid you also have to blame yourselves if you're one of the people watching it. Because if there was no one watching this trash on the telly, they wouldn't be making it. We could bring back Dad's Army. Everyone would be happy then, wouldn't they? An ITV source at the broadcaster said such explicit work isn't compatible with their audience, and the decision will apply to shows across the board. I mean, are they for real? They say that, and then they put stuff on like Naked Attraction. Ghastly programme if ever I've seen one in my life. People sorting out dates, and they don't even see their faces until the end. Only the rest of it. And that is entertainment. And then they come out with something like that. It's all double standards, isn't it? You won't ever see a naked person on here, I'm afraid. Probably some of you are very pleased to hear that, are you? Well, I've got that pain in my leg again. Ooh. Just on the side of my leg, right? It's like someone gets a knife and shoves it in there. Only it's just a small area like that. Literally on the side of my leg. It's between my knee and my bum. It's about a third of the way up from my knee on the right-hand side. It's only that one place it happens. Oh, and there it goes again. It's very painful. And it only happens when I'm sitting down, as far as I know. And that's strange. Don't know what. That started doing that about a week ago. My latest affliction. I don't dare ring the doctor again. I think I'll be one of those people that keep ringing every 5 minutes. Oh, doctor, I got this wrong. I get embarrassed to ring. So there we are. An insider's told the Daily Star ITV are now against talent with pay-per-view fan sites, such as OnlyFans, when looking at stars being involved in any news shows. Well, that counts me out, doesn't it? You know, I mean, this programme that's on now, it's practically, you know, PORNAGROP, something else like that, yeah. Isn't it? It's not just ITV. Channels in general are cracking down. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say it can be a deal breaker for some producers. But I mean, how do you say that when the stuff's on the telly with all their bits and pieces out? How are they judging people like that? It is double standards, you know, ITV. Either you go along that line or you don't. So you're saying you're not going to have people on programmes like Naked Attraction if they've had an OnlyFans. Well, what's the blooming difference? There's no difference, is there? Anyway, it's not my type of TV, so I don't know, Mark. If you've got one of those little accounts there that you haven't told me about, it's time to come clean. Send me the address, lovey. All right. Adrian might have to get another job and be charging by the pound or kilo to pay for his poll tax. I can't read out what you want to do, Adrian. No chance of doing that at your age, my friend. Mick says, how much is the mirror ball and clock on the wall? The clock isn't up for sale. The mirror ball you can get on Amazon. Mirror balls are not expensive. You would be very surprised how cheap a mirror ball is. You've got to buy the motor as well, a mirror ball and a motor. Don't get a battery one, get an electric one. And well, this is all wired in. You know, you see it better. There, is that better? Oh, you can't see it with the flag, can you? Hang on. Let me take those off. There you go. See that there? You still can't see the actual motor is on the ceiling. Can you see it on the other one or not? I'll tell you what, I'll move it. Yeah, look. The motor's on the ceiling, look. See that there? That's all above that. Look at that, eh? Giving away all the secrets today. Oh, you like to know everything that's here, don't you? You like to know all the secrets, how it all works. There you go. Back into studio mode there. Jeff, no email from me. Really? Gosh. Let's have a look. Email to Jeff. Where is it? Sent. There it is. To Jeffrey. Hi, Jeff. Got the ground rent bill today. Same price as last year. Sent to you at 16:18. Don't know why you haven't got it, mate. Are you on Gmail? I think you're on Gmail. I sent to your email finishing 50. That email there, perhaps. Don't know why you didn't get that, Jeff. That's strange, isn't it? Very strange. Just a second. Let me do my thing here. Oh, put that there. Good. And Mike in Brighton. Love Island, not my cup of tea. No, my night full of airheads. I mean, if you want to look at pretty people on the telly, yeah, go ahead. But don't expect anything other than people sleeping with each other and shouting and swearing at each other. That's it. That is the entertainment on ITV-BE all the time. Love Island, Big Brother, all those, they're all the same. All the same. But they're popular. Lots of people watch them. They like them. Just not me. Don't like them. Neither does Mark. Mike says, not my cup of tea, full of airheads. Speaking of TV watershed, do you remember Channel 4 had a symbol of a red triangle in the right-hand side of the screen as a warning? I don't remember that. The Collins brother and sister affair on Brookside got a warning. No, I don't. Excuse me, I don't remember that at all. Rachel said it could be a trapped nerve in your leg. I would take the island as I'd run out of air on the moon. Good point there. I'd take the island, Rachel. Do you think it could be a trapped nerve? It's literally on the side of my leg, and it's like the pain area is about the size of a 2p coin, and it's like someone's done that with a pen straight in my leg. Isn't it funny, isn't it? Isn't that weird? Very strange and mysterious. 0208 144 3477 is the phone number tonight. Now, what else have we got on the show today? Let me go through my little list. Oh, there's a new camera. Now, have any of you had a camera down your throat? Anyone ever had a camera down their throat? Now, I'm lucky. I've never actually had this thing. I've had one up the other end, which, I'll be honest, it was okay. But the one down your throat, because that's like near where you breathe and all that. A little bit like that it would be, wouldn't it, for you? Not a pleasant experience. The Mail Online report that there's a little pill. Now, I'm sure something like this was tried out some time ago. And for some reason it didn't get any further. Anyway, it's back in the news. A pill containing a tiny camera that can detect tumours is set to revolutionise the diagnosis and treatment of bowel cancer. The cancer cam, known as the colon capsule endoscopy, is swallowed by patients and takes pictures of the lining of the bowel to look for any signs of disease as it passes through the digestive system. Isn't it clever? Little thing like that in a pill. I could do another broadcast from inside someone, couldn't I? I quite like the idea of that. Yeah. Instead of seeing me from the outside, I could sit here and do a show With the camera, you could watch the insides of me instead. The insides of my bowel moving around. Is that sort of something that you might like to see on the show? Well, maybe. The devices, which can give results within just 5 hours, are initially being sent to 11,000 NHS patients across the country for trial. I wonder how easy it is to swallow the pill. I wonder how big that is. I mean, I take 2 pills in the morning. One is fairly big, I suppose. And now and again, it's not gone down. Do you know what I mean? And even sometimes water doesn't shift it. If you ever get a pill that feels... I remember hearing from Dr. Australian bloke he is Michael with us in Australia? He's not with us, is he, today? He'd know who this is. Dr. Calm, Dr. Oh, he used to do a phone in on Triple J in Australia. Dr. Carl. I think it's Dr. Carl. And he says if you've taken a pill and it feels like it's got stuck, it probably has. And the easiest way to deal with it is to have a slice of bread. And the bread will catch it on the way down and pull it down. Best way to do that. So I don't know how big this particular camera would be. But it says, if successful, it's hoped the new form of diagnosis could spell the end of more invasive colonoscopies as well as x-rays. It's that camera going, the blooming tube. Oh, it must be the most vile experience, having a tube down your throat while you're still awake. Because they don't like to put you out, do they? Unless they absolutely have to. They don't like to do that. Because some people don't wake up, do they? Something goes wrong, you know. Charity said the camera capsules could be a potential game changer for our diagnosis. It's had the potential to make a huge difference by people with bowel cancer symptoms and could help the NHS to prioritise those who urgently need further tests. I think it's fantastic. Here we go. Look. This is where I'd be with this, right, to be honest. Diagnosis can be delayed because many people refuse to undergo the uncomfortable procedure, which involves threading a thin tube with a camera into the bowel. Oh, hang on a minute. Through the rectum. Oh, so that's the one I had. Oh, that weren't too bad at all. God's sake. I thought it was stopping the one going down your throat. Was it not? I've got it the wrong way round. Oh, I hope they don't use the same camera on different people. Some going up and some going down. Oh, it's a bit mucky, that, isn't it? Ooh. Oh, okay, so it's going to stop. Oh, I'm disappointed, to be honest. It says uncomfortable procedure. Yeah, it is uncomfortable. Painful. When I had it done, I had no pain relief and I wasn't sedated. I didn't have any of that. And I'll be absolutely honest, the whole procedure was about 20 minutes, half an hour long, in which time it hurt 3 times for about 10 seconds a time when he pumped air in to expand your pipes inside to have a look around with the camera. God knows what who he saw up there, I tell you. Diagnosis can be delayed because many people refuse to undergo the uncomfortable procedure, which is a camera up there. By taking the pill, patients can continue about their daily lives without even having to visit a hospital. Roughly the size of a large vitamin pill, it's swallowed in the same way as a tablet and takes the same journey through the gut as food. So if you've got any sort of problems going down, it would see that exact route, wouldn't it? When you think about it, going down. Very clever. It captures 400,000 images to find any abnormalities such as cancer or IB, inflammatory bowel disease, which I know 1 or 2 of you have, which are sent to a device worn around the patient's wrist. Doctors then download the images and issue a report, potentially giving a far swifter diagnosis than if the patient underwent an X-ray or colonoscopy. That's brilliant, that, isn't it? I would imagine, though, if they can do it for that, they must be able to do it for a stomach problem. Mustn't they? I would imagine there is already, or will soon be, something very similar to stop you having the camera down the throat one, which I think is a lot worse, having a camera down the throat type thing. Maybe one or two of you have had something like that, have you? Eh? What's that like? Can't be that pleasant. Mike in Brighton says, I'm glad to see my voodoo doll is working. On my leg. Stop sticking pins in that voodoo doll. Good evening to Sherry Parish. Hello to you, Sherry. Not to worry, she's late today. She says John had his first COVID vaccination earlier, by the way. Oh, I hope that's okay then. Have you not had yours yet, darling? Oh, no, because his father, he's much older than you, isn't he? Not that you have to tell us. We've seen the pictures, my love. God's sake. Is he all right? Bless his heart. Did the home help have to take him down to the hospital for that, or the doctors? Should be all right. I hope you don't have it. There we go. Did you lose me then for a moment? You might have lost the programme for a moment then. Not quite sure if you lost us then. I just had a little red mark come up there and tell me you'd got disconnected. Did you lose me then for a moment? Anyway, I hope it doesn't have too many side effects. All right. Ollie says, how big is it? Well, it says it's the size of a large vitamin pill. So, I mean, I don't have a large vitamin pill really to look at. So I don't know really, Ollie. But it's better than having a camera. It's not all that nice. It's not too bad, but it's not all that nice. You know what I mean? All right. Told you about my new oven. Now, do you have any bits of yourself spare? Oh, we just skipped a couple of frames, did we? Thank you very much. Yeah, I noticed we got cut off then for a moment or two. I'm drying out a bit tonight. I don't know why. 0208 144 3477. If you want to call in tonight. Have you got any bits of yourself spare? We're going back to the moon for this story. 2 moon stories all together. It's like my opening video, isn't it? It's like the opening video where the moon comes on. And the insects, there it is. The moon is there. Watching us all. Checking that we're all okay, doesn't it? There's the moon there. Well, again, another story in the Sun. The DNA of 6.7 million... Can you spare any of your DNA for this? Any bits of you? Perhaps you could send a spare lung or a kidney or something like that. Let's take a call. George is on the phone. Good evening, George. Good evening, George. Hello? Nothing happening there. Is it me? Is that me? Hang on, am I plugged into the right one? Hello, George? No, can't hear me? Hang on, let me just check that I'm all set up here. Yeah, that looks all right to me. Strange, isn't it? That doesn't work. Can't hear you. I bet he's using that bleeding Skype again. Or something like that. Never mind. Hello to Alan Ross. Good evening, Alan. No email from you, Alan. Seems to be something going on with these Gmails tonight, actually, because Jeff was saying he didn't receive my email earlier either. No, I've got no email from you here. Isn't that strange? But, yeah, Alan Ross is sending an email. Sent you an email earlier to say hello. Hello to you, Alan Ross. He's on the radio tonight. 3 hours he does now on Reach On Air. 12 till 3 tonight is Mr. Alan Ross. Would you like to see his little poster while he's there? He likes to see his poster. Right, where we are. Alan Ross, there you go. Alan Ross's poster. Tonight he's on. He's got to redo that from midnight till 3, isn't he? There we go. Right, let's try this phone again. Hello, George? No, George? No, George. We can't hear anything, George. I don't think it's me. I'm sure it's not me. Can't hear you, George. Oh, that's definitely not me. If I get that little tone, I know it's not me. Something at your end there, we can't hear you. You're probably using Skype again. Try your phone, that'll work. So thank you for that. Thank you, Jeff. 1950. Just a second. Jeff. Let me check that. Oh, I might have a wrong email. How can I have a wrong email address for you? I've got I can't read it out, can I? Because people will see it then. One more time. Let's try George again. Hello, George.
Hello, I can hear you now.
There you go. What were you doing?
I was using my Amazon device.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I always use that.
Okay, there's a button on the top. Have you got it muted?
No. So
Oh.
I turned the volume up. It's been playing up. It's been playing funny music.
Oh, what music is it playing?
Sex bomb, you're a sex bomb.
Well, I know that, but what music is your Amazon device playing?
Them sort of songs, sort of thing.
Do you like Tom Jones, do you?
No.
No, you don't like Tom Jones?
No.
Oh, what about your nan? Does she like Tom Jones? Perhaps I could speak to her.
No.
I like to speak to people that like Tom Jones. Can I speak to your nan, please?
She's not available at the moment.
Why is that then? What's she doing?
She's asleep downstairs.
Oh. Are you I was going to... No. Okay. Never mind. Carry on.
What was I going to ask you? Oh, yeah. Guess what I had for dinner today?
Frog's legs.
Dead animals.
What dead animal did you have today?
Pig.
Oh, how awful. Do you know how friendly pigs are? Have you ever met a pig?
Yes.
And was it friendly?
Yes.
And then you don't feel guilty about eating them?
I done agriculture at Moulton College, okay?
Right.
And they're all said all the animals who you eat were going to die anyway.
So that makes it all right, does it?
Yes.
Not for me, it doesn't. Look up abattoirs on YouTube. I'll leave you to do that.
What was the other thing I called you about? I was thinking another thing. It's gone now.
You should write them down before. Daniel Woodhouse writes stuff down before.
Oh, yeah, the island thing.
Yes. Is your nan moving there?
I wish.
Who would cook for you? What a terrible thing to say about your lovely nan. I'd like her as a neighbour.
My pap can cook.
Right.
So he could cook. Another thing as well. Did you like my archery thing?
Yes, we played it on Monday.
Yeah. Did you like how I changed my what do you call it? The pictures at the end and the beginning?
No, we don't usually play those. It's a little bit irrelevant, really.
Oh.
Because I've already played those at the beginning of the show. Why would I play them again?
Don't know.
Right.
So, yeah. And what else is it? That's it really, Chris.
Well, thanks for calling, George.
Okay.
Keep firing those arrows.
I will.
I must say, I'm very impressed that you were able to shoot that moving target.
Pretty easy, really.
Not for me, it wouldn't be. I can't even play tennis or cricket. I can't do much, actually, really. I'm just an irrelevant person.
I can do DIY.
Oh, well, I can't. We saw the little boxes that you made, the little animal boxes, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the point. Next door to me, his name's called Chris, and he can't do DIY either.
Perhaps no Chris's can do DIY.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to get a real man in like Mark Bowles to make me things.
Yeah. Anyway, speak to you later, Chris.
Thank you, Mark. I hope you, George, I hope you're able to sort out your Amazon device.
Yes.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
George calling in there, boys and girls. All right. 0208 144 3477. Good evening to Paul in Cornwall. Says it's cold and damp in Cornwall tonight. It's not cold here at all. I'm a little bit too warm in here tonight, to be honest. Now, where were we? Noah's Ark. That's it. They want to bring out a Noah's Ark in space. Now, do you want to send a bit of yourself to the moon? Then we will have more bits of you when the Earth blows up, according to this. It says the DNA of 6.7 million species could be stored inside the moon in case there's a disaster that destroys life on Earth. Well, it's already happening. It's already happening. We are disappearing in a sea of plastic bottles and cans, which I have to go out and pick every day. Scientists have a plan to create the Lunar Ark, which is essentially a moon version of the biblical Noah's Ark. I think one or two of you were on that, weren't you? You're old enough to be on that Noah's Ark. Where that big old boat came down and 2 animals were allowed on there. 2 giraffes, 2 bison, 2 hippopotamuses, 2 elephants, 2 ants, 2 flies. Well, they're going to do the same on the moon. The proposed lunar ark would contain millions of samples of lots of bits and pieces from the 6.7 million known plant, animal and fungi species on Earth. The moon has hollowed out lava tubes on its surface that researchers think the lunar ark could be placed in. It's thought that these cave-like networks were created by lava billions of years ago. Now, if you could send a piece of yourself, what piece would it be? I think in my own case, I think I might send my nose, right? Because that is quite a substantial nose, don't you think? Barry Manilow is very jealous of my nose. Talking of Barry Manilow, the concerts have been moved back again to June next year, June 2022. Seriously, they've been moved 3 times now. June 2022, the concerts are going to be. Dear me. How old? He'd be about 76 then. Bless him. So I think I would send my nose. If you was to send a piece of yourself to the moon, what would it be? Let me know. 0208 144 3477 is the phone number, or you can text in 07451 287 337. It says robots would be sent inside the tubes to start building the ark. They just send robots up there to do it. Isn't it clever? I suppose, and there will come a day, I'm sure, when we could go and live on another planet. I don't know in how many years' time that would be. But ahead of us, I think we're probably almost at the point now where we can send a load of machines, robots, before us to build the houses, infrastructure, start planting the plants that we would need to survive in these places. And then we just get basically on the spaceship, arrive there, and it's all done. How clever is that, eh? What would you send? I would send my nose. It says it will require power so that all the samples can inside remain cryogenically frozen. People have themselves frozen, you know that, don't you? Cryogenic freezing it is. What they do is as soon as they die, they get themselves frozen. Okay, in the hope that at some time in the future, they will be able to be unfrozen and brought back to life. And if they had, excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. If they had some sort of disease at the time, by the time they're unfrozen, they could have it cured. Isn't it clever? And it's true to say, this is absolutely true, People who can't afford to have their whole bodies frozen just have their heads done. They literally have their head cut off when they die and they get their heads frozen in the hope that one day they can unfreeze them, put them on top of a new body or some sort of machine and continue to live. Odd, isn't it? I suppose it's better than just being dust, isn't it? It will also need things like an airlock and lighting for human visitors. The aim of having the Ark underground is so it would be protected from asteroid strikes. It's thought the Ark would be in less danger on the Moon than similar projects on Earth, such as a global seed vault, which is at Svalbard. I think that's in Norway or Switzerland, one of those countries. Would you be sending anything like that at all up to your Noah's Ark? Let's have a look. Pete Remington says, did George slip Nana sleeping pills so he could talk from you? Quite possibly. AJP Ash says, hello Chris from Ash. Hello Ash. Hope you're well there. Fran used to live near a pig abattoir. I could hear them screaming. Oh. Can't. Still enjoy sausage, egg and beans. You see, I can't disconnect those screams from that thing on my plate. I've heard that on, fortunately, not in real life, only on videos on YouTube and things like that. Jeff says, oh, is that right? Yeah, I think, yes. Walt Disney, says Jeff, was one of the first people to be cryogenically frozen. He's frozen. Madonna made a song about it, didn't she, called Frozen? Would you like to be frozen at all? Eh? I'm not sure that I'd be able to get in one of the tubes. I'd have to lose a bit of weight first. And the thing is, like, if you're then that's going to cost a lot of money. And it's an ongoing thing, isn't it? I mean, it's all very well saying, OK, you're going to be frozen. That's going to cost you, I don't know, £200,000. But at some point, that money must run out, mustn't it? So who's topping it up? You know, if you run out of money, what do they do then? Unfreeze you and bury you? And how do you know you're not, like, properly dead? No one knows, do they? You don't know what it's like when you're dead. Do you carry on for a while? I mean, at the point which the doctor says you are dead, can you actually not feel anything anymore? Because if you can, and you decide to get frozen, you could be placed in this tube and frozen and forevermore be very cold. Maybe you can still feel that. Maybe there's something still alive in your brain that they don't know about. Maybe all these people that have been frozen, like Walt Disney, are in these canisters suffering at the moment. It's bad enough when I accidentally leave the window open in the caravan. As you well know, Jeff. Gets cold in there, doesn't it, mate? Oh, dear. Hello to Gary Owen. Good evening, Gary. Who says, send George to Mars. Gary Owen in Welsh Wales. He's doing his shows again at the moment. Evening, Chris. Whose coat's that jacket, boyo? Do you like it? Why hasn't the Union Jack got a little dragon on it for Wales? I've always wondered that, you know. The United Kingdom should have a little dragon on there somewhere, shouldn't it, really? Nice to see you, Gary. Clarissa was watching Drag Cabaret, and they were doing Prison Bitch while George was on the phone. What is Prison Bitch? I don't know what that is, Prison Bitch. What is that? Is that something I'd want to be? I think maybe so, actually. Thank you, Mike. Your email's coming through there. Your email's certainly coming through there. All right. Gosh. Let's have a look. Dragon's Den ideas. Adrian, the little dragon, she's up in Scotland. Mrs. Cranky. Oh dear, I don't know about her. She just shouts and screams, and it's the same old record in it, going round and round again. Change the record. Like, even while the pandemic was on, she was going on about her blooming voting. Vote for an independent Scotland. How many do you want, my love? 2, 3, sort of best of 5? Best of 8? Something like that, until you get your own way? Dragon's Den ideas. Got any of those? Dragon's Den ideas? I've been watching little Dragon's Den videos. There was one in preference to watching breakfast television now. I'm fed up with it. Doesn't entertain me anymore. None of them. Ben Shepherd has at least lost his fake smile on ITV Breakfast, but now he looks like he actually doesn't even want to be there. He says, yeah, and we'll be back after this. And the face drops. Do they not know to smile until the camera goes off? They ain't got a clue, have they, these people on the telly anymore? And this is how it is, you know, you say goodbye. And thanks very much. That's it for ITV Breakfast. We'll be back with you after the adverts. And you like that, right? You have to wait. You have to wait. And then you can stop smiling. Except they don't. They're like, thanks very much. Dreadful. The presentation on television now is absolutely horrendous. Anyway, back to Dragon's Den. I've started watching Dragon's Den films, little 10-minute videos in the morning, 10, 15 minutes they are. I like them. My favourite being Deborah Meaden. The one I was watching yesterday, this bloke, oh bless his heart, they did give him a hard time. He'd invented an exercise chair. It was quite an old one. Deborah actually didn't have so many lines on her face, and even old Peter, what's his name? Peter, who sits at the end, is like, seems to be the most important one there. Peter Jones, that's it. Peter Jones. He sits there. He was looking younger as well. Anyway, this bloke comes out with this armchair, and it's got all sorts of gadgets, and you open drawers, and a bike comes out, and you put something up at the back, and it's got like a little. What do you call it? You know those things you run on? One of those came out. And Duncan Bannatyne got up and started trying the various things on this chair. Like stretching with this thing that was sticking out the top. And this bloke who's invented it, he was so serious. And everyone was just laughing because it was just bizarre, this thing. And then Duncan Bannatyne, he pulled out the walking thing on the back, you know, the conveyor belt thing. And the bloke says to him, well, this is only supposed to be for walking. Well, Duncan Bannatyne starts running in it. And he was laughing and he was crying. He was laughing so much. And I was wetting myself with laughter watching this Dragon's Den. It's a great programme. Of course, it's been going for years now. Have you got any Dragon's Den ideas? Anything in your head that you might want to take to Dragon's Den at all? There's an article here. Some of the most ingenious products ever on Dragon's Den. There's one here, the magic whiteboard. They wanted £100,000 for 40%. That's what they got. And the investors, they did a double one. The old Theo Pathetes, I quite like him. He's great, isn't he? He's the bloke who owns, doesn't he own Ryman's, I think, and various other things. And Deborah Meaden, my favourite one in there. And it was an item so simple, we're surprised it didn't exist before. The inventors, Neil and Laura Westwood, Magic Whiteboard allows people to rip whiteboards off a roll and then stick them to any hard surface and use them like a regular whiteboard. I mean, how easy is that? The company is still active and you can purchase all kinds of versions of the product via its official website. It's got to 20 countries and is in over 500 stores worldwide. See, the whiteboard is quite a common thing. Now, what do they have in schools now? I was talking to a teacher I know, Kelly Kim. She used to do a quiz with us on a Tuesday night. And they have like an interactive board. I think computers or something connect to this thing. And you know, when I was at school, we just had a blackboard. That's all we had. I'm sure the same could be said for most of you. All we had was a blackboard. Some chalk. sometimes coloured chalk, usually white chalk and a blackboard rubber. Dust all over the place. It was horrendous, dear. And if you were naughty, the teacher threw the board rubber at you. And all the teachers were very good shots because they never hit one of the kids. The idea was to frighten you, you see. But I suppose there must have been some kids over the period of time that we had blackboards in use that did actually get hit by a blackboard rubber. You'd lose an eye easy. It's when the kids are winding up the teachers, you see. Got any ideas for Dragon's Den things? Another one here. Brolly. An Brolly. 2 people invested in this, Duncan Bannatyne and Peter Jones, £150,000. They put in to get 40% of the business. See, they put the money in. The inventor uses it for whatever. And then they get 40% of the profits. Continually. That doesn't end. That's the idea there, you see. It says, how many times have you been out and about and suddenly it starts pouring down with rain and you don't have an umbrella? The Umbrolly would have provided simple vending machines containing cheap but sturdy umbrellas at most underground rail stations across the UK. Imagine how awesome that would have been. What a great idea. Because let me tell you, when it starts raining, I used to work in shops. I worked in Millets that was the only clothes shop, but we used to sell umbrellas. And let me tell you, whenever it rained, people would pour in the shop looking to buy a cheap umbrella. You have these vending machines, one on every high street, possibly. Train stations, bus stations, you could have them all over the place. But sadly, the deal with Dragon's Den collapsed after the show. But he took Peter Jones' advice to set up a new company without the original business partners. After working with other investors and partners, a smaller vending machine was launched in late 2007 and it gradually grew across Europe and the United States over the next few years. By 2010, the UK arm of the business folded, but Charles's business still provides consultative services and oversees sales of its products to new and existing customers. So he's doing pretty well for himself, but we're still wet, it says. I haven't seen one of you. What do you think? Let's have a look at your messages. Gary Owen says, my idea is Weight Watchers for overweight, lazy scroungers who live where? I better not read that out, actually. I'm not reading that. You're very naughty. Very, very naughty. Alan Ross, I once had a blackboard. Rubber bounce off my head. Was that from the teacher? Oof, can't have been a very good shot. The teachers never actually aimed to hit you. They wanted to just miss you, to frighten you into shutting your bleeding mouth. Then he says, I once had a blackboard rubber bounce off my head. I had a huge lump and would no doubt have been given compensation of millions of pounds these days. Anyway, I had to tell my dad I tripped, or he'd have went nuts if he knew I'd been talking in class. And that's where the difference is there, Alan. So, yes, Alan, that's the difference there. Isn't it? If you were sent home by a teacher, I mean, it was bad enough having the cane or something. I had the cane at school twice. That was bad enough, but at least they never told your parents. Mum and Dad never found out that you'd had the cane, unless they saw the bruised stripe across your arse, which incidentally became a bit of a proud badge to wear in the showers at school, didn't it? You had that line, that bruised line going across your arse. You were quite proud to have that. Oh, that's a good one, Chris. Well, we called it the lash. You'd been down to Macintosh and had the lash. He was our headmaster, Macintosh, who is friends with me, actually. Wonderful man. So dedicated to that school he was. John Macintosh, London Oratory School. Total and utter dedication. Possibly the best headmaster you could ever find anywhere. Total dedication. And he was strict. He became headmaster while I was at the school. It was Mr. Gaffney before him, who was even more strict, to be honest. And then I gather, for the period of time I was there, I always got on well with him, even though he caned me. I think he caned me once and Gaffney caned me once. I always remember being about 20 years ago at church, at the Brompton Oratory, which was our church, for the Christmas do. And this lady come and sat elderly lady come and sat next to me. You were allowed to go as a guest. They couldn't have too many guests because, of course, the entire school would go on holy days of obligation, and also for the school carol service. Of course, they wouldn't have gone this year, or last year, I suppose. But if you wanted to go, you could ring up the school and say, have you got any places? And they had about 20 places altogether in this massive... The church is it's such a large church. It's more like a cathedral than a church, the Brompton Oratory. And it's in Knightsbridge, very close to Harrods. And I'm sat there and this older lady sat next to me. She said, hello, I'm so-and-so, Mrs. Gaffney. I said, oh, surely you're not Mr. Gaffney's wife? Yes, that's right. He died some years ago. I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear. That's okay. Tell me, did he cane you? She said, I said, yes. She said, yes, there's not many people that escaped. You get caned for the slightest of reasons. The slightest of reasons. We had several floors, you see, and it was in like a long big square, sort of square like that, where the corridor went like this, you know. And in the middle of each corridor was 2 double doors, fire doors, which must always be closed. Well, you couldn't open them, they were on springs anyway. And of course, the alarm goes off to change classes. Beep, 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 beep. It used to go like that. Everyone would pile out the classes and we'd go running around these corridors. And I always remember I was walking and there was 2 boys in front of me who banged these doors open. Little did they know, Gaffney was on the other side of the doors. And then you heard those immortal words, "You boy! Downstairs to the entrance hall," and you knew what was going to happen. Oh, we got it here. It would be pain and suffering time. Gosh, and you go down and see Gaffney, and it was like a show. It wasn't just the cane, you see. He'd be sitting there at his desk, and you'd be standing there, arms behind your shoulders, behind your back. Hello, sir. Right, okay, boy, so what's been going on here then? And then you'd have to tell him what you'd done wrong. Well, that's a very bad thing. And he'd be sitting there snarling at you. Oh, he was horrible, Mr. Gaffney. Didn't like him. And then after he'd told you off, he'd get up slowly from his desk. It was a show. It was a show to make you as fearful as possible of this person. He'd get up slowly from his desk and you'd watch him and he'd walk across to this cupboard. And I always remember the cupboard was in the corner of the room and he'd open the cupboard and there was a selection of canes. And he'd make a point of like touching each one of them and he'd select one and pull it out. Okay, boy, put your 2 hands on that chair there and face the front. Whack, and then you'd get it. Oh, it did hurt, dear. But that would be the end of it, you see. There's no more after that. As long as you didn't do anything wrong again, that would be the end of it. Possibly the worst thing ever would be if you were sent home, because then your parents would know and you'd have a letter which you'd have to give to your mum and dad. Now, that never happened to me because I was never that bad, to be honest. All right? But it's possibly the worst thing that you could do. Your parents would go mad. Nowadays, they would come back to the school with you and argue with the bleeding teacher. That's where it's all gone wrong, you see. I mean, do you want the teacher to be in charge of your children or not? In my opinion, that's where it's all gone wrong. And Alan Ross says exactly the same there, you see. Oh, well, one of those things, isn't it? We're going to close the phone line. We didn't get many phone calls. I only got one phone call tonight. Never mind. So we'll close that phone line now. Thanks to George for calling in on the show today. Now, what else have we got here? Oh, can we have a few thumbs up there for me, the little likes things? If you do some of those likes on your way out or now, if possible, and push the likes up a little bit for the YouTube algorithms, my darlings, all right? Does it matter what your partner wears? Does that matter? Doesn't matter to me. My mate's always going on at me like this because I do dress a bit like a tramp when I'm here. Seriously, I'm not like this. The only time I'm like this is when I'm here talking to you, or I'm going to do a karaoke night, or turning up at someone's wedding, funeral. I do myself up a bit. Most of the time I look like a complete tramp, as proved by one of my neighbours, Phil. He's one of the people that does cars. Do you know what I mean? Every road's got one of those. He's one of the people that does cars. And his son came across this show just before Christmas, actually. He said, what's all this video stuff you do? Yeah. Reese, that's his son, was telling us about it. I've had a look. He said, don't ever stop doing that. It's really funny. So I said, thanks very much. I said, I'll tell you what. He said, I'll tell you what. I said to Reese, did you see him on his video show? He said, I bet the people don't realise he don't look like that when he's walking around here, and I don't. I've got an old T-shirt on and old tracksuit bottoms when I'm walking around here. What difference does it make? It makes no difference at all, does it? But does it matter what your other half wears? You know. In the Daily Mirror, a 21-year-old woman with £1 million lifestyle admits she would dump her boyfriend if he bought her supermarket flowers. How ungrateful can you be? Well, I'll tell you what, my love, you're not worth going out with. If you think someone like that needs to spend money on you to keep you, nah, don't think so. Her name is Saffron. I mean, it says it all, doesn't it? Saffron grew up in luxury after her parents made millions through their surrogate business. What was that, having babies for other people? Well, her dad's made history in the late 90s when they became the first gay men in the UK to father children through surrogacy. Now Saffron has spoken out how difficult it can be to start a relationship and what she looks for in a man. She told The Sun that she swerves dating apps after giving them a go, as she claims the majority of people on them are ugly. This is why she's not that good. I'm just looking at her now. She's got a funny, like, piggy face. I'm sorry, I can only speak as she finds. Just remember what she said first, yeah? Most of the people are ugly. Well, I've just seen a picture of you, my love. You're not all that nice, are you? Not nice at all. Saffron says she needs a man who is not intimidated after claiming that she ended a relationship with a man because he was intimidated by her wealth. I mean, what difference does it make? Why would you want to go out with someone for money? It's wrong, isn't it? Should be irrelevant, totally irrelevant what someone's wearing. You've just got to love them for who they are, haven't you? Every year, Saffron says she spends around £65,000 at Christmas buying presents for the whole family, including her four brothers, little sister, Valentina, and cousins. And she regularly bought her ex a pair of £430 pair of shoes from his favourite label, but ended up driving a wedge between them. What a spoilt brat, isn't it? She realised they were at breaking point after he bought a pair of Gucci shoes that Saffron hated, and he eventually returned. She said, I met this bloke on Tinder and we split because he couldn't keep up with our family and our spending. Well, you wouldn't be worth going out with them, my love. Good luck to you and whoever else sales in you. She's looking for love once again. She admits she's got high standards and dubbed chocolate as an unsuitable gift. What an ungrateful cow. Isn't it? If someone I was seeing came home with something from Primark, I'd be thinking it was time to knock it on the head. I would try and be nice, but it'd be obviously on by my face. Good luck then, darling. Hope you find someone, I really do. Oh, we got a $5 chat. Thank you very much to Matthew Martins. He's in Canada. Thank you, Matthew. Very kind of you. Thank you, Matthew. Nice to see you, sir. Long time no see. Are you sort of one of the quiet, the silent viewers now? I think you've become a silent viewer. You're often there, but you kind of don't chat in there. Nice to hear from you, Matthew. How's your little boy, Jake? He had a little... some years ago now, I remember you proudly coming up one day and sending us in a little picture of Jake, didn't you? How is your little boy, Jake? I don't know if you know, Matthew, but I don't go into the chat box. I'm not actually in the chat box. The way to communicate with me is either send a text or call in or just send an email to that email address there, and then I'll read it out. I do get... if you put a message on a super chat, I do see that in front of me. All right? So anyone else, again, who's in the chat box and you're trying to talk to me and wondering why I don't reply, I'm not in the chat box. It's too busy. Okay, just send us an email there or text in 07451 287 337. Thank you, Matt. Very kind of you. Come back to me and let me know young Jake is there, all right? George, the pain and suffering sounds like you're hitting someone. Yes, you'll be next. Or your nan. Does your nan like a little bit of whipping, George? Perhaps you could ask her for us. Does she do a little bit of that sort of stuff? You know, each and every one to their own. What's this? Oh, thank you, Fran. Mike in Brighton. We had the leather back in our school. It was around half an inch thick and black and brown. You'd get 3 or 4 on each hand. Now, I would imagine being caned or leathered on the hands is probably worse than being caned on the bottom. I would think. It must be because you're using your hand all your time, aren't you? To be honest, after you were... it didn't really hurt to sit down or anything like that, you know. Mike says you used to get 3 or 4 on each hand. The worst bit was when you got into trouble, you'd have to collect the leather from another teacher in another classroom just to humiliate you. After the slaps, your hands would sting and you had to return the leather. Ooh. I remember our form teacher, Mr. Murphy, his name was. He was always one for April Fool's jokes, and he got some boy to stand up once. Excuse me, I don't know who it was. Ryan, say it was Ryan. Ryan, could you come here a moment, please? Ryan. Yeah. Can you go to biology? Go and ask for Mr. Whatever his name was, Mr. Smith. Can you go and ask Mr. Smith, and can you ask him to for a long wait, please? And the boy would say, a long wait, sir. Yeah, just go and ask him for a long wait. Okay, off you go. And of course the door would close, and then the teacher he'd have his he'd go, off you go, and he'd be doing something. And the moment the door closed, he'd look at us like that and smile. And we'd realised he'd sent him off to wait somewhere for a long time. April Fool's. We got April soon, haven't we? April Fool's Day. What day is that on? Let's have a look. Oh, it's on a Thursday, is it? Thursday. That's one of my 2-hour reach shows. I've got 4 2-hour reach shows I've booked in. 29, 30 and 31st of March. That's 8 till 10 a.m. And Thursday, the 1st of April, 8 till 10. I've only got 4 booked in. I just wanted to see how they go and then decide whether I might request that 8 till 10 slot instead of 9 till 10. There's no guarantee that you'll get it, though. You know, they have to weigh up in their minds how many more people are wanting that slot at the moment. You know, the schedule is I would say it's slightly not as busy as it was, but it's still fairly busy, the schedule at Reach on Air there. Alan Ross, off topic, just reading that the Gordon Ramsay bank balance quiz looks like it's been scrapped after audience figures more minuscule. I know you didn't like it, and looks like neither did anyone else. Is that right? Oh, let's see if I can find anything about that. I mean, it was absolutely dire, that programme, I've got to tell you. Did you see it at all, Alan? I mean, it just had nothing going from it. The set was diabolical. The colouring was just awful. There was no catchy tune. Gordon actually could do the job, but it was just messy. It was complicated and the contestants were awful as well. And it was so drawn out. Let's have a look, see if it says. Oh, here we are. Did you get it? Daily Express. 4 days ago. The Mirror. Let's get it from the Mirror. Here we go. Right. I thought, I think I knew that was going to. Gordon Ramsay's Daily Mirror. Gordon Ramsay's bank balance began on BBC One 2 weeks ago as the TV chef hosted a brand new game show where contestants must answer quiz questions. I've got to say, I can't fault him, really. He's doing the job. He's just in the wrong job. It's just the wrong job for him. It's the wrong job and it's a crap format. That's the problem with it. That show has got nothing going for it. So completely and totally opposite of The Wheel, which within 2 minutes of it starting, I loved. And I think a lot to do with it was the set and the catchy tune. Da da da, The Wheel. Ross Patzelt loves that. He's quite pleased. I've just done him a couple of jingles, Ross Patzelt. The TV chef hosted a brand new game show a few weeks ago, Gordon Ramsay's Bank Balance. Contestants must answer quiz questions and balance blocks on a floating podium. There's a top cash prize of £100,000, which is not to be sniffed at, which drew comparisons to Channel 4's £1 million drop. You see, I don't think a quiz show needs to give away loads of money if it's good. Look at Blankety Blank. Hugely popular, crap prizes. The format carries it. Doesn't need to give away great big money prizes all the time. Why is everything about greed? In a Daily Mirror, it says, despite its prime slot of 9 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday and Fridays, ratings for the show have been declining since its first episode. More than 2.9 million people tuned in to watch the first one, which is still low. That dropped to 1.5 million after 2 days. Christ, I mean, it's just awful. A source told the Daily Star bank balance has been an unmitigated disaster. Gordon is having a nightmare that's worse than anything he's dealt with in the kitchen. His attempt at a new career has fallen flat. I wouldn't say he can't present. Honestly, I'm not a great fan of Gordon Ramsay. All that swearing and nastiness in the kitchen, to me, is totally unnecessary. That being said, I think he could do something on the telly, still, presenting, if it's the right show. He was given a poison chalice. I don't think anyone could have bought that. If Bruce Forsyth was here, I think he would have said no to the job, to be honest. It's crap. The format is awful. Top brass at the BBC are already saying they don't know if they want to commit to a second series. Its future is hanging in the balance. The BBC splashed the cash to make it work, but it just isn't popular. Its viewing figures are well below the average for the slot on the BBC One. So there we are. It's going to finish on Friday. A decision over whether or not the show will be renewed is yet to take place. Well, I hope not. I hope not. It's cringing. The one episode I saw, there was 2 girls on it. All they did were row with each other all the time. Constant bickering going on, dear. What's all that about, eh? Thanks for that, Alan. Ollie's go, moo for Ollie, moo. Rachel, we used to get the wooden ruler straight across the palms of our hands. Like that, innit, eh? Gosh. Alrighty, is there any more emails? We're going to finish up now, I think, my darlings. Let's just do that there. Excellent. I think we'll finish up. I've got to tell you, Holby City this week. I'll talk about it tomorrow morning on my chat show. Okay, on my music and chat show. Okay, I'll be on the radio tomorrow morning. There I am. 9 till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I do hope you'll join us for an hour of fun. ReachOnAir.com is the station. You get it on Siri. Just ask her, say, hello, Siri, play Reach on Air. She'll play it for you. Google Mini Speaker, TuneIn app, Simple app. If you've got Amazon device, you'll need to enable the app. Okay? You'll find it a lot easier to enable than trying to set up the Hoover app as what came with my oven. But there we are. I'll be on there tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And of course, at midnight tonight, you'll see our very good friend Alan Ross on there. Is actually on until 3 a.m. most days. Okay, so tonight Alan Ross will be keeping you company in the very late hours, midnight, right the way through till 3 a.m. And I don't know if he's still with us, but I did say the other day, and I really mean that, we're extremely lucky to have Alan Ross on Reach on Air, a live DJ on an internet radio station for 3 hours in the middle of the night. And I know there's some of you that are up at that time, you know, to actually find someone, even on normal radio. A lot of those music stations, they're just playing tapes at night. Basically, it's called voice tracking. It's basically little bits of voice they've recorded already and they slot it in. But there's no one actually sitting there. Alan Ross will be sitting there with you tonight, playing his music and giving you a bit of chat and information about that. So that's tonight at 12 o'clock at Reach on Air. Have a nice evening. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening to the show today. Thanks very much to Matt Martins for his nice $5 super chat. Another chat show for you on Friday night at 8 o'clock on this channel. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night now.